Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today I'm going to be doing a versus video between the Harden Volume 4 and the Harden Volume 5. Right, so if you guys saw the review of the Harden Volume 5, then just get the 4 and that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Now, so for the retail price, they're both the same. It's 130 bucks for the 4 and 130 bucks for the 5. The 5 wasn't very good, you know. I didn't personally like it all too much, but I try to be as objective, is that the right word? I guess objective as possible in my reviews, and try to see like most things from another person's point of view if I can, right? But like traction, I guess cushion is pretty, you know, subjective. So basically what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there's a shoe, I mean, everyone has their own preference and there is a shoe for everyone, you know. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't. And I also like to see if the predecessor is better than the new shoe or vice versa. So if you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, right? So pretty much they have a very similar traction pattern. I don't know what it is with Harden, but he really likes this like web designed traction pattern, and he's had it in all of his shoes besides the Harden Volume 3. And the 4 was really good. You know, on a clean court, you had a very, very good bite, a very high-pitched squeak as well, but it wasn't very good on dust, you know, especially if it picked up a lot of dust and you didn't wipe, you would slide out. It was pretty dangerous. So if you wipe pretty frequently, it was okay. The Harden Volume 4 wasn't my favorite, but the Harden Volume 5, like, I only played outdoors in it, but it still wasn't very good. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the Jordan 31, where like moving in a straight line, you know, moving forward, it didn't have the greatest bite, but on lateral movements, even on like a 45-degree angle, it wasn't terrible, right? So the Harden Volume 5 traction pattern wasn't the best. And I also played in the Harden Volume 4 outside. You know, I actually played in this pair and had a really good bite, and durability is also really good. You know, the grooves are thick, the depth of the rubber is pretty thick as well, and the rubber's hard. So the Harden Volume 4 I would say is better than the Harden Volume 5. Alright, as far as the heel to toe transition goes, the Harden Volume 5 is just terrible, right? So I mean, usually I don't mind as much, you know, if the rubber outsole cages the heel. I mean, because of this, it doesn't allow the midsole to compress as much, and it feels pretty clunky, right? You guys hear that? It's just a super thick and hard rubber piece here. It's not like super soft like the Harden Volume 2, right? So because of that, it's very, very clunky here in the heel. Look at how flat it is. It's super flat as well, so it's a slapper. And also another thing is that it doesn't flex very easily here in the forefoot, right? Because of all this rubber outsole and all this like plastic here where the midsole is supposed to be. So it's just it's a slapper. It's clunky here in the heel. It doesn't feel nice. The Harden Volume 4 is actually super nice. You know, you have the light strike, although it is caged just a little bit. The rubber outsole comes up a little bit. It's still like not clunky at all. You know, you have a little bit of heel compression as well. And look at this. Look at how much it flexes here in the forefoot, right? So it's just a lot, overall a lot smoother. I mean, if you look at the shape, it is pretty flat. So it does slap a little bit, but it's definitely not as bad as the Harden Volume 5. Alright, moving on to the cushioning setup, right? So the Harden Volume 4 uses full-length light strike, and it's okay, you know. Hardens have very, very good court feel. Like, both of these shoes have good court feel. I would say the Harden Volume 4 is a little bit lower to the ground if you like that. So because it is super thin, you don't really get a whole lot from the light strike, because, I mean, light strike is nice, right? It's a nice foam. It's slightly bouncy. You have a good amount of compression. It is a lighter foam as well, so it doesn't take up a lot of weight in the shoe. But like I keep mentioning, it is super thin, so it doesn't allow the cushion to compress as much, especially here in the heel. And I would say it's okay, you know. It's more of a responsive type of cushion that's super low to the ground, and I would say it has good impact protection for how low to the ground you are, but it's still like not the best. And I would say the same thing for the Harden Volume 5, but like I mentioned before, it is a drop-in midsole, right? So you'd be like, ooh, drop-in midsole, that's kind of nice, you know, and then you can feel the boost right underneath your foot, but you kind of can't. The only place you can feel the cushion is here in the heel, and that's just a little bit, you know, just a little bit of compression right underneath my heel, which I guess is a little bit nicer than the Harden Volume 4, but this outsole, this piece right here is just, it's so damn thick and hard. Like, it's so clunky, it doesn't feel nice, you know. And then here in the forefoot is there's really nothing either. So I don't know, I would say as far as like how the cushion feels and plays, it's pretty much the same as far as like compression and like balance and all that goes, and impact protection, I guess court feel. But just because of the clunky ass heel, I would say I like the Harden Volume 4 better, because it's an exposed foam here in the heel, or pretty much the entire length of the shoe, you know? So I'd say I like the Harden Volume 4 better. All right, moving on to the materials. Yeah, Harden Volume 4 is way better. It's a lot thinner. You still have fuse here, so durability is good, you know? And then you basically have a Primeknit. It's super thin, it's soft, it's comfortable, and it comes all the way up here into the midfoot, and then the tongue is pretty well padded, and then the ankle area, there's a little bit of padding. So for the most part, it's a very minimal and thin upper. Here in the Harden Volume 5 though, when you look at it, you're like, oh, it looks kind of nice, you know, it looks thin and all that, but then once you feel it, it's super stiff. And this is broken in, right? And it's still fairly stiff, a lot stiffer than the Harden Volume 4, right? So if you want like a more stiff upper, I don't know why you would want that, but if you want, I guess, support, and that's what you want, then the Harden Volume 5 is the better material. But I guess in most cases, the Harden Volume 4 is better, like I mentioned before, because it's thinner, it's softer, it's just as supportive, I would say, and it's just more comfortable. You know, the Harden Volume 5, I mean, it just wasn't as comfortable, especially breaking it in, and especially when I first got it. Right now, it's like, it's not bad, I can deal with it, but I wish it would like conform to my foot a little bit better, which the Harden Volume 5 doesn't really do. So yeah, the materials are way better here in the 4. As far as the fit goes, for the Harden Volume 4, I went true to my Adidas size and it fit me pretty well, you know. Width-wise, I would say it's like normal / slightly wide. And then here in the toe box, it's a little roomy, you know, especially since it's a Primeknit, and once you break it in, it, you know, it kind of stretches out. And then for the Harden Volume 5, the fit, it runs really long, so make sure to go down half size from your Adidas size, and once you do that, it pretty much fits the exact same as the Harden Volume 4. I do like how both of these shoes have a high heel tab, so it's pretty easy to put on both of the shoes. As far as the support and lockdown goes, okay, so support, lateral containment, they're both really good, right? So the Harden Volume 4, you have a lot of the midsole coming up, acting as a side wall, so lateral containment, you're good to go. And same with the Harden Volume 5. Like I mentioned in the review, you have this stupid plastic thing that looks like light strike, so you're like, ooh, that looks kind of nice, right? But then nope, it's not. It's just a plastic thing. I don't know why they added it. It makes the shoe overall really stiff and not very comfortable when you're walking around or you're running around. So I mean, but because of that, I guess it does act as a sidewall. So lateral containment is good in both of the shoes. For heel slippage though, the Harden Volume 4, I had no issues. But the Harden Volume 5, it's just not good because of how stiff it is here, right? And as you guys can see, there are Achilles pillows, which should be like, oh, that's kind of nice. It should help with containment, right? No, it doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe it does a little bit. I mean, I feel like if it wasn't there, then my foot would just slide out completely. But it's still not good, and there's still a good amount of heel slippage. So the Harden Volume 4 is better for containment there. As far as which one's wider, I don't know, which one do you think is wider? They're on the same, you know. Adidas does a really good job in making their shoes like really low to the ground. You have a very wide base, and there's really no outrigger, I would say, but they just make it super wide. So for lateral stability, I had no issues with either of the shoes. All right, as far as the weight goes, the Harden Volume 5 was like 16.2 ounces. That's way heavier than LeBron's. I don't think LeBron has been 16 ounces. I think it's like 15.8 ounces. So a low top shoe is heavier than a LeBron. Like, how do you do that? That's like terrible, right? So it's super heavy, super clunky, very kind of, it's not super bulky. I guess the material is not like the bulkiest of uppers. You know, it's actually quite thin, but it's just like glued down the line. There's a lot of fuse, so it feels really stiff. The Harden Volume 4, I feel like, is way lighter. Let's see. Yeah, so 12.7 ounces. It's extremely light compared to the Harden Volume 5. But comparing it to, like, you know, other shoes, it's around average weight, right? So, I mean, the Harden Volume 4 is way lighter. It feels more minimal on foot, and it's way more responsive. So there's that. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. That's something that the Harden Volume 5 wins in. You know, this is a great looking shoe. Whoever designed it did a good job on the design. As far as the tech goes, the execution of the tech is not very good. You know, like the materials, the cushion and all that, but the design is great. The Harden Volume 4, I mean, it's weird. I don't really like how it looks all too much. Some of the colorways are dope, but the overall silhouette, I feel like the Harden Volume 5 looks way better. So there's that. Tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, I mean, the Harden Volume 5 really doesn't beat the Harden Volume 4 in any categories besides aesthetics. You know, traction was better here in the 4, cushion was better, or if not the same, materials are better, support is just as good. So yeah, I mean, for performance, I would say just get the Harden Volume 4. The Harden Volume 5 is not a very good shoe to play in. I didn't enjoy playing in it. It wasn't very fun, and it just felt like a brick on my foot. So for like 99% of cases, I would say just go with the Harden Volume 4. If you don't care about any of that for some reason, you just want the better looking shoe, then I guess you should be okay with the Harden Volume 5. I mean, it's not terrible to the point where it's just like I'm gonna like break my feet or my ankles when I'm playing in it, but like it's not a very fun shoe to play in. So just be wary of that and just watch out for that. But anyways, that about concludes my review on the Harden Volume 4 and the Harden Volume 5. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.